ones that stick out to me are like the really meaningful ones. Like we have one of our viewers, his name is Tyler, and he has, oh my gosh, I wish I could remember it. Is it Asperger's, or he has like a disability, but he's so sweet and he's so fun, and you can tell like when he meets us, his eyes light up, and he's just like, he has a sense of humor even though he doesn't really talk. And I don't know, I'm getting emotional thinking about him, but we got to meet him again at CVX Live, and we met him before, and I can't remember if it was CVX Live or VidCon, but it's just those that like you remember them and you just feel their, I don't know, the spirit that he has is just like exciting. It just makes me grateful to know that we have a connection or an impact with somebody that has such a great spirit.
Yeah, I met him at CVX too.
Yeah, Tyler.
So sweet.
And his parents are awesome.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Love the parents. We're always like, I am, especially now that I have older kids, just the fact that parents are so willing to travel and take their kids to meet people, even if you don't quite understand, like, why do you watch these people on YouTube all the time? But parents are so great.
Being involved.
Yeah. So thank you, parents. This is from Caroline M. Barnes. And she said to me, how would you react if Braylee became serious with a boy at the same age you started dating Casey? Love you all. We love you too. I feel like a hypocrite saying this, but I would be like, no.
Listen.
I don't know. It's hard to answer this question because I'm so grateful for my story. And I'm grateful that I met Casey when I did. I was 15. And he really is the only boy that I dated. We broke up sometimes. He was old enough that when I was a sophomore, he was a senior, so he graduated. So I was still able to like have a lot of fun with my friends through school. And I kind of focused more on my friends when I was at school and school activities. I'm going to like dances. I just went with friends because everyone knew I was dating Casey. So that was something that was good about that. But I want Braylee to wait until she's like 30 years old to get married. I really do. I think it's so common, especially, you know, when I was growing up, it was very common to get married young.
Right.
Most of my friends got married at like 18 or 19.
Wow.
And I just want Braylee to travel and go to school and live more life. That I don't know, it's so hard to answer. I don't want to come off
It is hard
wrong
because like you don't want to say my life wasn't good enough,
Right.
but I understand that totally.
Yeah, I just want her to like get everything out of her system, travel a lot. And not that you can't travel with your husband, not that you can't travel with kids. It's just a little bit harder. And I want her to have a lot of experiences before she gets married and settles down. But I don't know. Casey and I have talked about Braylee about, you know, not getting serious with a boyfriend because Casey feels the same. We love our story. It worked out great. I remember when I first met Cecily and she was asking about, you know, me and Casey, and I told her we started dating when we did, and she said, oh, you're really lucky that you guys both turned out to be decent people. And I had never thought about that before, and I was like, you're right. You know?
We're lucky.
So Casey and I really kind of grew up together. And I do feel very fortunate that we both turned out to still like love each other. You know, I don't know. It's so crazy.
I think because the common story that you hear is that you get married too young, then you both change, and like it is common, and that's okay if that has happened to you or if that's the way your life is.
Yeah.
But like you are lucky. Like I think that too. Like that's an awesome story.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's not like Braylee will be able to recreate it. Like, oh, I'm going to do this because you did it.
Right.
And then it will turn out totally different.
So here's the craziest thing. My grandma and grandpa got married when my grandma was 15. My mom and dad got married when my mom was 15.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I started dating Casey when I was 15. So then Braylee's like, well, yeah, you know, she has that. But I honestly don't think that Braylee will get serious with a boyfriend. She is so boy crazy, and she just will like a boy a lot at 1 second, and then she likes this other boy. So I'm not worried about it. Anyways, that was... I wish I wouldn't have picked that one now.
Really?
Did I answer that terribly?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. If Braylee, at the end of the day, if Braylee really felt like she liked this boy and he was the one, then of course I would understand that. And I would be there for her, and I would give her the advice that I would wish that I would have given myself about different things. But you're right. At the end of the day, I have no say.
Right?
So.
Yep. Teenagers, they do what they want, right?
Right.
But listen to your parents, you guys.
Because I know my parents were just like, when I was like, I love Casey, I'm going to marry him, I'm sure that they were just like, okay, Kaylee. Whatever.
I think at the end of the day, it's like, we love our kids.
Yeah.
And you know that you, like, love Rayleigh, and you love all of your kids so much that it's like, you want the best for them, even though we might not know exactly what the best is. You know, I'm sure that your parents at the time were like, I know we did that, but keep it cool. Like, I think too, because we've also been through it and we see the hard stuff. Like, there's a lot of hard stuff, and there's no way we can prevent that from happening to any of our kids, but we want to. I know. You know? All right, our next question comes from Cassie Ray 22. How do you balance mom life, being a wife, and still having time for you time? I'm a new mom, and I'm having a hard time finding time for me to do the things I enjoyed, like working out, reading a book, working on crafts, and self-wellness.
That is a hard question.
It is a really hard question.
It's a great question, because I remember feeling that way when I first had Braylee, because it's like you just become such a different person, and it's such an exciting time, and it's beautiful, and it's amazing, and I've always loved like the newborn stage. And then like at the newborn stage, you're still sleeping a lot, and you're just enjoying like looking at them, and that to me was a little bit easier. And then they start to become mobile, then they sleep less, and that's really when I felt like I completely lost myself, because I was then chasing her and entertaining her more throughout the day, and I didn't have as much time for myself. You know, when you have a new baby, I know it's exhausting, and I know all newborn babies are different, but with mine, I always felt like I had time to still do things that I enjoyed. Right. And then it's like from like 3 or 4 months on, that's when it got hard for me. And I feel like with all of mine, I kind of struggled with finding balance until they were like over a year old. It's hard. It's really hard. And I will be completely honest with my life right now. I've enjoyed all of my babies. I love it. Even when I feel out of balance, I still have enjoyed it, because it's really fun for me. Right. But then I kind of got to a place, like 4 was hard. 4 has been the hardest adjustment, I think, because 4 kids is a lot. That's a lot of people. And then Braylee also is a teenager now. So totally different needs and different issues. Right. And I feel like she needs a lot of my attention, like a lot of attention, and a newborn needs a lot of attention. My boys are kind of like easygoing and kind of at easier stages in life. Right. But I still want to be able to give them a lot of attention. So I felt really pulled in a lot of different directions. And what I ended up doing a couple of months ago was putting both of my little ones in daycare. And it has been the best thing for me. Right. I don't think that I think I would have felt too guilty to do that with Braylee. And I did go back to work with her. And so I did have to take her. And I do work from home. And so to get my work done, I did need some help. Yeah. But it's hard to remember who you are if you don't have that time. Yeah, it's true. So I think this is another one that's really hard, asking for help. If you just need a day or 2 a month, I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but it can as a mom, to have that time to yourself. Ask a friend, ask a relative, ask your parents if you can, to watch your kid. Yeah. Like, that's okay. That's okay to ask. And I would always be happy to watch someone's child. So, you know, that's not a burden, and that's not like putting anything on someone else to ask for help. Most likely they'll be so happy to help you, and just have that time. Even if you're seriously sitting on your phone the entire time, just like not having to be in mom mode, just being able to relax, to take a nap, to read a book. I love crafting. When I take my kids, I do a lot of crafting. So I think do whatever you need to do to have a little bit of time for yourself. I know it's hard if your husband's working a full-time job. I remember Casey would come home really tired, but to be like, I'm really tired. I just need an hour even.
Yeah.
Like, just ask.
Yeah.
And I think don't be afraid to tell other people how you're feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
I think too, like with balance, like trying to find balance, is sometimes there are stages in life where there's not a good balance.
Right.
And trying to like forgive that and accept it. Like when you have a newborn, it is like 95% newborn, 5% everything else and everyone else, including yourself.
Right.
So trying to come to terms with that a little bit too, like realizing, okay, this is a stage that feels like forever, but it's not going to be forever, and kind of forgive that. But also, I think one thing that has helped me a lot is trying to get really in touch with yourself. Like, trust your intuition, trust yourself and what you're needing. Like, trust your mental needs, because a lot of times mental health is an issue when we're like new moms and we can't find a balance because we're thinking that we have to be super. We're thinking that if I'm not doing this, then I'm a bad mom and I just have to power through. Mm-hmm. But really, like, we need to ask for help. That's a big one. Being able to admit, you know what, I'm struggling, I'm tired, I need some help, or I just need somebody to listen, or, you know, give me an hour to take a nap. Will you hold the baby, please? And then after asking for help, combating the mom guilt, because it's such a huge thing, mom guilt.
Oh man.
And I don't feel like there's any need for it. Like one of my great blessings I feel like that I've learned over the past couple of years is to recognize where you have earned guilt, like if you've done something or said something that you need to like be sorry for, and then recognize where you have unearned guilt and then dump it. Mm-hmm. And for us moms, like that unearned guilt is just piled on. Like we think we need to give equal time to each kid, and it has to be perfect, and we have to make sure they all know that we love them. Their clothes have to be all clean and their rooms have to be like, we get in our heads about whatever it is that we need to do, and it just simply isn't true. Like, there are divine reasons why your kids are in your home, and you need to trust that you're doing the best you can at any given moment, and so are they. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be pushback and conflict, and that's okay. That's a part of it too. And so I guess the first thing is to forgive the balance and the lack thereof, and ask for help, dump mom guilt, and just, you know, enjoy every moment that you can.
Right. That's so good.
It's hard. I'm still dealing with it.
That's really true. I think that we get asked that question a lot. How do you balance everything? I never feel balanced, to be completely honest. I never do. Mm-hmm. Even, I mean, I feel like daycare has helped, but I still feel out of balance because my kids aren't with me all, you know, like, I never feel.
Right.
Like, will we ever? Does anyone? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe that doesn't need to be the goal. Maybe the goal just needs to be what needs to happen right now. Mm-hmm. You know, like, okay, the baby's crying. Let's feed the baby. You know what? I'm freaking out in my mind. I need to call a friend. Yeah. You know, like, kind of pay attention to what the need is at the moment. And maybe it's you needing to, you know, give yourself a break. And not have to be balanced.
Right. I think even like it's not necessarily like your kid needs to be away from you, I guess, either. I feel like I kind of answered that, like, get the kids out of there.
I didn't think so, but sometimes it is.
But I think that, like, you're right. Like, call a friend or even invite someone over for lunch. Mm-hmm. Because even just having that interaction with someone else is so great. And maybe you could be like, want to come over and craft with me? Like, maybe you have a friend that wants to craft. Come over, and then you guys can take turns entertaining the baby. Mm-hmm. Or if they have a baby, the babies can play together. That's always very helpful. I remember when I had Braylee, it seemed harder because she didn't have like a friend to play with. And then I had Gage, and I was like, why didn't I do this earlier? They play together. This is the greatest thing ever. So invite someone over and just and be able to have an adult conversation.
Yes. That helps so much when you're a new mom. It's like, we're not changing diapers and saying, oh, goo goo gaga.
Yeah, you forget real words.
You do. You end up talking to your husband like, oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. I feel like I've been stuck there for how many years? 14 years now.
Yeah.
So
I know it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you so much for your questions. We love you guys. You're the best. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Doesn't matter if the snow is falling.